I will use the mic better. Yes, Michael. I came this evening with my wife, Mary Lou, who is here, and just stand or wave. And my good friend Rocco Fort from Hartford. I'm a new entrant into this. I just last week established an exploratory committee to look at the feasibility of running for governor. I do so because I believe, and of course I will try to persuade you and the citizens of the state of Connecticut that I have the knowledge, the experience, the right skills, and a very strong desire to help our state on a new path, to charge a new direction, a new and successful direction. And quite importantly, as a part of that, I believe I have the political will to make it happen. Let me just give you for a few minutes a snapshot of my background, because it's been a while since I've been in public life, although I've been the president of the University of New Haven recently and was involved in public affairs, shall we say. But my roots are in Connecticut. My roots are in this Republican Party. My grandparents were immigrants from Italy to this country in 1899, 1900, and 1901. They settled in New Britain on one side and New Haven on the other side, although they're from the same region in Italy. I went to public high school in Hamden. I went to Holy Cross College. I became an officer in the Navy upon graduation from college. I then went to graduate school, and after graduate school at New York University, where I studied for my PhD, I became a professor at Albertus Magnus College in New Haven, and there I taught for a number of years. I also had my first introduction to public affairs when I was selected to be the youngest delegate of the 1965 Connecticut Constitutional Convention. Connecticut, you know, is a state that has existed for 370 years, but only 3 times has it looked at and revised its constitution, and only once in the 20th century. And I was privileged to be one of the delegates at that time. There were 84, 42 Republicans, and 42 Democrats, and I was the youngest of the 84. So that was my introduction to politics and public affairs. Following that, I became a state senator while still teaching at Albertus Magnus. I was a state senator for 5 terms in the 1970s, when civility and progress were characteristic of our state government. I was elected to Congress in 1980, beating a Senate colleague, state Senate colleague, by the name of Joe Lieberman. We were friends then, and we continue to be friends to this day. Following my stint in Congress, I served in the Reagan administration. I was acting Assistant Secretary for Legislation at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and then counselor to the Undersecretary and the Secretary. HHS, incidentally, is the largest government agency in the world, and as an Assistant Secretary, I had significant management responsibilities. Following that, I was chosen to be, for a couple of years, year and a half I think it was, guest scholar at the Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars in Washington. I returned to Connecticut in the late 80s to be the president of the Connecticut Public Expenditure Council, and soon thereafter was appointed to be the chairman of the State Board of Higher Education. In 1991, I'm sorry if this sounds like a resume, but I guess it is. In 1991, I was chosen as president of the University of New Haven. which I served in that capacity for 13 years, which is about twice the length of the average college president in the United States of America. So it was a good run, and it was a time when the University of New Haven, we were able to move it from being primarily a commuter institution to be a residential institution by the time I left in 2004. Since then, I've been involved as an international an advisor and a consultant. I chair an organization in Washington called the Institute for New Democracies, which, as the title indicates, is to promote democracy in areas of the world where democracy is just emerging. Eastern Europe, I've been there many times. Central Asia, I've also been there quite a number of times. Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. I have a great interest in international affairs, and that's what I've been doing since I left the presidency of the University of New Haven. But as I look at this race for governor, dance, I can do that too.
Anybody want to dance?
Yeah. Where's Mary Ann Turner? We'll dance.
Mike went dead. Microphone went dead.
Home, Larry.
Yeah. We had
We can't hear you anymore.
She put it on the wrong.